Greetings. This is a big pen. This is a Ranga Majestic, and Majestic is a good name for this pen. So here's the deal with this pen. This is handmade out of ebonite in India. You order them and they can make them out of a very large selection of ebonite materials, different patterns, different colors, etc. They have almost every conceivable color and pattern that you would want. They can make it in either a matte finish or a shiny finish. They can make the pen with either rounded ends or flat ends. I obviously chose for the rounded end version here, etc. They offer a couple of nib options. They use Bock nibs, which are have threaded nib units. What I chose to do was to order it with a Bock nib unit, which I then replaced with this titanium Bock unit, which they do not offer the titanium nib. I could have ordered it and saved a little bit of money and ordered it without a nib at all, but I wanted the option of switching back. So I kept the original steel nib unit that it came with and just simply replaced it with a titanium nib that I ordered from another vendor. So what you're seeing here was bought from two different places. One, the pen itself was bought from Ranga, and the nib unit was ordered separately. So back to the pen itself. It is a very big pen. It's pretty heavy. It weighs 44 grams, but what do you expect for a pen this size? Just to emphasize how big it is, here it is next to a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan, and it makes these other pens look positively miniature and puny by comparison. Let's even look at it posted. The pen, believe it or not, does post. You don't actually need to post it, but just let's look at it posted just to be funny, and look at the difference in size between this and a Lamy Safari posted. It is a monster of a pen. This is a number 6 size nib, which is a huge nib under any other circumstances, but it looks positively miniature in this pen. It's got gold trim around the cap band and on the clip. It takes let's see, I believe it takes it takes one full turn to open this. Let's see, let's just check this out. Yeah, so it's just about one turn to open it, and then it reveals the nib unit here, which, like I said, is a Bock titanium nib. It's got the section's very nice. It's a smooth section, and it has this nice, fairly good lip here that gives you something to hold onto. The threads here are fairly unobtrusive. The material itself is really pretty. This particular material is a green and black ebonite, and this was the gloss finish, and you can get it in a matte finish as well. The other thing is, it's clearly a handmade pen. You can definitely see sort of almost the tooling on it, especially if you look down here where it tapers. It definitely has a great sort of handmade individual look to it, which I really kind of like. In terms of filling mechanism, there are a couple of options. It comes with a Schmidt converter. Now, you're probably noticing a lot of threads here. I'm turning this many, many times to open it. You're going to see why in a minute. It does come with a Schmidt converter, but you can eyedropper it, and hence the reason why you have so many threads there. That's to make a good seal if you choose to eyedropper it. I can't even imagine how much ink this would hold if you eyedropped it. I mean, just a bucket full of ink. Just an absolute bucket full. Normally, I'm largely indifferent about the packaging that pens come in, but I just thought I'd show you how this comes. It comes in this fairly nice box. It's sort of a silk-covered box with a snap lid, and they give you a couple of goodies with this pen. So they give you a bulb type, a syringe type eyedropper unit to actually eyedropper fill it if you want. Plus, they threw in an extra pen. Free pen, and I haven't tried this pen yet, but it says Oliver exam, so I'm assuming this is, I guess, what some people call a school pen. But one thing that's really nice about this, and what makes me kind of excited to try this out, this is a piston fill pen. This is not just some cheapo throwaway eyedropper or cartridge converter pen. So this is a piston filled pen. So this actually looks pretty nice. So I'm looking forward to trying that out, and I'll certainly review that in a future episode when I try it out. So it comes in a nice box. They give you a bunch of nice little goodies. Now, in terms of cost, let's talk about the cost for a moment. The pen came including the steel Bock nib unit, which you see here, cost $77. Now, again, if you were to order it without the nib at all, that would obviously cost less. I then paid another $60 for the titanium nib unit. And the nice thing about these Bock nib units, as you can see, the titanium nib and the steel nib, both medium nibs. Other than the material, they look identical, and the nib units just easily unscrew and screw in. So it's actually a fairly simple thing to change these units. If you're familiar with the nib units on, say, Pelican pens, it works pretty much the same. So I guess that is pretty much it for the pen. The next big question is, how does it write? And we're going to find that out right now. Okay, what we're writing with here is a Ranga Majestic. And this has a Bock number 6 titanium nib. And the nice thing about this titanium nib is it's very, very springy. Very springy. So you can get some pretty nice line variation going on. And the nib has a great sort of springy feel to it, which I really like. Now, obviously, you do always have to worry about the feed being able to keep up with the nib, because this actually the tines on this can actually flex out quite a bit, so you do have to go slowly if you're going to flex it. But I'm really, really happy with how this nib writes and the amount of line variation you can get, which, as you can see, is pretty substantial. If you take it nice and slow, you can definitely, I'm pushing it a little much there, but you can definitely get some good line variation. It also reverse writes pretty nice. So you can go from a medium to a fine / extra fine there, and it reverse writes pretty nicely. It's also decently smooth. Very, very, feels very good to write with. So I really like this a lot. The pen itself feels very good in the hand, posted or unposted. But I said, it is a big, big pen. So, and it's got a girthy section, and it's a big pen. So if you're looking for a big pen, look no further. If you like your pens on the medium to small side, keep on looking, because this is not a pen for you. But it is a nice, big, impressive pen. This nib, I'm very, very happy with this nib. I think this was a good choice to put in here, and the titanium nibs are pretty nice. This nib, it's a normal Bock nib. It's got the Bock logo. It's got a little bit of scroll work, etc. But the only thing that it says the word Bock, if you look very close, other than the fact that the material clearly looks different than steel, if you look very, very small letters under Bock in italic type, it has the word Titan, which is what they call their titanium nib. So that's the differentiation there. In terms of ink, this is a really great ink. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, so it's a good thing that Akkerman gives their ink numbers as well as names. So this is Akkerman. Number 28, and here is the name. It's HOFKWARTIER. Sorry. GROEN. This is Dutch. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that in Dutch. I believe there is a YouTube video or two online which takes all the Akkerman ink Dutch names and shows you how to pronounce them. So I would direct you to that rather than to have to listen to any attempt I would make to pronounce this. But it's a good thing they do give all their inks numbers, so I'm just going to call this Akkerman number 28. I love this color. This is a very organic looking green. It reminds me like of algae or seaweed, something like that. It's got some nice shading to it, and it's very different than other greens that I've seen. I haven't quite seen a shade quite like this from other ink vendors. This one's quite different, and I like it quite a bit. Not a conservative shade. This would call attention to your writing. A lot of other inks that I've talked about in the past are inks that, you can just write with. No one's going to go, ooh, cool, what's that shade of ink? It's not going to happen. This one, you're going to get people to notice this shade of ink because it's not just an ordinary green. This one's a bit different. It's got a certain amount of vibrancy to it. It's got good shading, and it's just got this great sort of organic quality that I really like. It's also pretty well behaved, does not smear, etc. If you look on a previous video that I had just recently, I talked about the new Liz Grew in Cactus, which is another shade of green that I like quite a bit. But the big problem with that one is it definitely has dry time issues and smearing issues, which this ink does not have. Now let's talk about the bottle, because as with all other Akkerman inks, it's got a cool bottle. This is the 60 milliliter sort of standard size bottle that Akkerman inks come in, and it looks kind of almost like this laboratory flask. It's got this great look to it. It's got this cool sort of one-way valve mechanism. Basically, there's a marble here that gets pinched in this upper section and stays there. So you basically tilt the bottle, it fills this section with ink. You can then fill your pen with that section of ink. When this gets low here, you'll always be able to tilt it and fill up this upper section. This ink's a little tough to get. Akkerman inks are a little tough to get if you're in the US. There's only one or two vendors that sell them, and it's a little bit on the pricey side. They get something like $28 a bottle, but it is a 60 milliliter bottle, so it's a very nice sized bottle of ink. Comes in a nice box, comes in a great bottle. So I do recommend them quite a bit. I've got a couple of Akkerman colors, not too many. I guess that will do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe. If you did not, please tell me why, and I will endeavor to improve. In any case, I wish you goodbye.